Just going to take a little comfort break. You chat amongst yourselves. I look forward to the edit.
Oh, that's good. We start a half pint without Glenn. So now we can say what we want about it.
Yeah, we're still a full crew of 3, so I mean, you don't have to wait for him.
I thought you guys might be stopping the recording and starting a new one for the half pint.
No, we just keep going.
Just continue talking. Yeah.
I mean, the half pint was founded out of us being bad at recording at the start, and we got a lot of stuff cut out on the floor, so to say, that actually could be useful. So we stitched it together, and then we started to just
continue the recording.
Yeah, because it was more relaxed, and we actually, it was nicer just outside of the standard format that grew out of I don't know what.
I don't remember. I just remember that I think it was Glenn who mentioned the concept of a half pint, and no, we can't really call it that. And I was like, I'm disappointed if we're not calling it half pint.
And we more or less bullied Glenn into accepting us calling it half pint. Yeah.
But it seems to work, and
yeah, there's no other podcast that has anything close to it.
Yeah. As a listener, how does it feel us just putting out an after show in the middle of the week, so to say?
It's nice. It's more to listen to. It was. I opened Instagram this morning at around 10. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. There's a half pint as well. So I was just had to download it and listen to it at once.
So do you listen to a lot of podcasts at work?
Yeah, I would say I probably 70% work by myself. So then it's headphones on and just podcasts all the way. As long as it's not too complicated to work. Usually it's the complicated parts are like the start, and then I just do the same task for some time. If it's half an hour or 4 hours or whatever, depends on the project. It's it's not mindless work, but it's the repetition. So I can just put on the podcast and be a part of the conversation instead.
Yeah, I do the same when I have that kind of tasks. I mean, I can draw, make plans and that sort of thing, and listen to podcasts, but I can't write anything. So if I'm going to answer an email or something like that, I have to pause the podcast. But just it's a good distraction to keep your mind focused on a thing as well, so you don't wander to listen to something. But it can't be I have some podcasts that are complicated. I mean, they're more high level science things, and I can't just have that on in the background, because then I don't understand what they're talking about.
Yeah, I just realised something funny, and that is every week for the last couple of months, at least one of us has referenced Christmas, and in the main episode this week, the Christmas episode, no, one of us referenced Christmas.
Yeah, you did. You talked about the present.
Oh yes, I got told off.
True that. But this the half pint actually comes out on Christmas, on Scandinavian Christmas.
Christmas Eve.
The correct Christmas.
Proper Christmas.
The eve of Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You celebrate the Eve. Midsummer's Eve, you celebrate that, not the Midsummer's Day.
We don't celebrate that.
No, but you're weird.
Yeah.
You celebrate.
Yeah, that's right, KJ. We're the weird ones.
Yeah. I said this before. You celebrate the Eve because the day after you're free from work, and then you can be hungover. It's simple.
But that is, I mean, we have been talking about having a Swedish meetup, and I'm still on. We should do that on the Midsummer's Eve then, so we can see the wooden penis and the frog dance. That's I mean,
You're very welcome.
I could get hammered to that.
As is the tradition.
I would find that quite funny.
Yeah, but speaking of maker meetups, I was thinking that all of us have been both to Maker Central and to Skaperfestivalen. So what parts of those shows would you take to if you were going to make a new maker thing, festival, meeting place, something? What parts do you really like about both Maker Central and Skaperfestivalen? Separately or together? What are the best parts?
For me, the festival's not important at all. It's just the fact that it's somewhere to meet everyone. And that is really all I care about. So you could put it up in a barn somewhere for all I care. As long as everyone's there.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of smaller maker meetups, and more like private. We've been 20-ish people. So it's just the excuse to meet all your friends. That's really the best part about Maker Central and Skaperfestivalen. So yeah, same for me as with Glenn. It's not about the venue or the stuff you do. It's just meeting like-minded people and having fun.
Exactly.
I think I would. I mean, for the Skaperfestivalen, and I like it's very central, and it's free, so it's open for everyone, and they bring their kids in. But what I think was better maybe at Maker Central, they had more activities you could do. You have that at Skaperfestivalen as well, but I mean, if I could choose, it's like Stian says, if you have like a maker meetup, like the one that the three northern makers have, where you go somewhere and you have to have something that you do, because just meeting up, that would end up just being sitting around a bonfire drinking until everybody's hammered. But if you could meet up, but you also have something to do, that would be a good combination, I think. It doesn't really matter what it is, but just meet up somewhere. I think we talked about it earlier. I think in Sweden there's a river where you travel there and you build a raft and you just sail down the river while you're drinking beer until it falls apart, or you get to the end destination and they pick you up and drive you back home again.
So neither of you are fond of the having the public there. You would much rather have something for just the echo chamber of the maker community, and not having the rest of the world there.
No.
Yeah, I think
Having a long line of people wanting to shake Colin Furze's hand, for instance.
If when we went to Maker Central, if the public weren't there, then Haavard wouldn't have met his fan.
Yeah, my one fan. That would, yeah.
So it's worth having them there just for that, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't. The queue for meeting Colin Furze did not impact me, but it's very nice to like the Make for Makers. I mean, you are meeting a lot of people just discussing the things that you're making, and then you strike off a conversation, and then suddenly someone, I'm into leather work, and you start discussing something. So I think just having a small echo chamber would be boring as well. So I think it's hard to combine those two. You have like Maker Central, which is a larger festival, and then the small local maker meetups is something completely different. And I don't think you can combine those two, but I think the community can't grow and thrive if nobody can have a place where they actually can stumble over it and discover it. So I think you need both.
Good point. What about you, KJ?
No, I don't really know, because I mean, Skaperfestivalen is more of a show and tell. I mean, look what I've made thing. People showing stuff, and Maker Central is more commercialized, and the ability to try stuff and more people demonstrating stuff that you can buy, or it's more commercial in that sense, and both are good in their own way. But I've been thinking what would be the perfect event open for the public, and I'm not sure. I don't know what perfection is in that sense.
No.
I mean, you'd need Bosch as a main sponsor, and then a free venue, but at a place where it's cheap beer and it's not frowned upon drinking beer while there are kids at the venue. So
Germany?
Netherlands? Yeah, no, Germany.
We can't go there now, can we?
No.
Too bad that bridge was burned. Yeah.
Well, I think that's the good thing about Maker Central, though, isn't it? Because yes, it's open to the public, so the public can see what's going on and be introduced to the maker world. But also, in the evenings, it is just makers, isn't it? The public aren't there then.
Yeah.
So you have got the best of both worlds all in one place, really, haven't you? So maybe Maker Central have cracked it. We just need to move it to somewhere where they get better flights to it for you guys, really, and move it from the 17th.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think
the Maker meetup at Maker Central, they have the same at Skaperfestivalen as well, but you just ate dinner at Skaperfestivalen and then people just kind of left and spread out, but at Maker Central, people just hung around and then you ended up at the same hotel at the end. Of course, I went to bed, but all the others went and had a good time.
No, don't worry, I didn't.
Makes me feel better, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was busy during the day, and then look at. Oh, now it's evening. Where's Haavard and Glenn got to? And then I had to be the social one.
You know what they say? Old people and babies need more sleep. So
yeah. True that. Yeah.
Are you looking at starting something in Sweden, KJ?
No, nothing substantial, at least. Not at the moment, at least. But maybe someday it would be nice to have something. But it feels weird inviting people. I feel, because that's the law of Jante, the classic Norwegian saying. As I've been told that it comes from Norway, but Sweden embraced it so hard that you kind of forget that it's Norwegian.
Can you explain that for me?
It's the thought that you shouldn't think that you're someone. You shouldn't think that you're special.
Yeah.
And that's very, very deeply rooted in our minds.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably in some weird way connected to that, but I'm pretty sure it's a mental block, because if you even kept it small, if you just arranged something, I think people would, you would be surprised. I think people would show up, and what I feel that I need to be better at myself is in just inviting me. Because I got a message here from Arne at Mangesysleren here the other day. It's like, I'm in your neck of the woods. Are you around? Yeah, just pop by for a cup of coffee. Now, he doesn't drink coffee then, but still, it's really nice having someone just send you a message. I'm around, and if you're available, I just pop in. So we just met up in my workshop and just talked about making, and then of course they had to go to the next place to pick up some stuff and meet some people. And I think it doesn't need to be anything. It's I see a lot of makers now are having just an open workshop, and Rasmus Loen has that as well, and there's always people just stumbling in just to have a chat. So we just have to bully you some more into doing it, and then you'll end up realizing that, oh, this was kind of nice.
Yeah, I give it a couple of years.
And we can talk to your wife and ask, is he home that weekend? Yeah, we have no plans. All right, so then we'll just invite some people over for him.
Surprise!
Yes.
But I mean, Stian, you went to Martin.
This year I went to visit Martin this summer, and also in February, March, something. I went to visit Rickard Salvesen at his place. And Rickard is the one that's closest, and he's only 5 hours drive from here. Martin was 9 hours.
That's so long. It's so long.
It was long. Rickard was a day visit, but when I drove to Martin's place, it was for a weekend. I couldn't do that in one day.
No.
In the secret room.
Yeah.
That just makes it sound so much more ridiculous because, England's a pretty small country. I mean, I live in the middle, so everywhere is pretty much a couple of hours away from me at most. So, the excuse for not visiting is crazy, really.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice if a little bit more of that went on, I guess.
Yeah, if only I had more people reasonably close by. That would be nice. Because, I mean, a 5-hour drive is a lot as well.
Yeah, it's a long drive.
I think it's a good job that us three don't live closer together. We'd be pretty sick of each other really soon.
Yeah, I mean, it would very quickly be a bi-weekly podcast or once a month.
It's funny, Steve only lives 15 minutes away from me, and, there's months go past without seeing him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, us being introverts as well. It would probably be something similar.
But I mean, it's weird that I have a lot of friends that has been working as like captains or on rotations or whatnot, and a lot of them have come to the realization, all right, I work for 4 weeks and then I have 4 weeks off, and then I can do whatever I want and I can go visit people, but everyone else is working like 9-to-5 jobs, and then they have to pick up their kids and they only have the weekends. So the people working shifts or away, they realize that I'm away for a long period of time, and then when I get home, everybody's busy, and it's just a certain amount of limits of how much I can renovate my house before I have to find something else to do. And many of them realize that since you're away for several weeks, people can't really pay attention to when you're home and not, so you don't get invited to as much because are you home now, are you not, and like keeping a tab of that. So a lot of them have just gone back to getting like regular 9-to-5 jobs because it fits better with actually interacting with other people.
Yeah. You have to find other people with the same rotation as you, so you have someone to hang out with.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the same when I worked nights. I mean, I had no social life whatsoever that summer because when I was awake, everyone else was asleep, even when I wasn't working. So,
yeah, and the thing is that the other people on the same rotation when you're working night shift, they're of course working, and the people who are awake when you don't want to hang around with those people who are awake at that hour at that rotation without it being job related. That's yeah.
I used to work every weekend, and on the rare occasion I used to get a weekend off, I used to go off out into town or wherever, and bloody hated it. There's so many people. I like my Mondays and Tuesdays off.
Yeah.
That as well.
Yeah, that was a lovely day when we got home from Rome, and I took the Friday off, and it's like, Yeah, I could go down to the workshop, and then I should go to the hardware store, and there was no one there because all the tradespeople, they were there in the morning to get stuff, and then they went out to the projects and so on. So there was no one there. But it's one or two pensioners, but they're harmless. So yeah.
As long as they move out every way they are.
Yeah, but that's they move so slow, so it's easy to just go around them.
I noticed that TF Turning did a whistle just the other
He did.
day or week, or and I realized that he also made, like you did, with the bulgy mouthpiece, if that's what you call it. Yeah, the mouthpiece that
like
kind of phallic, but it looks like a bottle more or less. Is that a British thing to make whistles that looks like that?
It's just like a recorder type mouthpiece, isn't it?
But our recorders doesn't look like that.
Do they not?
Not phallic in that way. I don't know about the Norwegian ones, but
You say my whistle looks like it's got a bell end on it.
a bit, yes. And I didn't.
And an even bigger bell end blowing in it.
How dare you talk about my wife like that?
You
forgot about that, didn't you?
Yes, he did. I'm just glad I'm not.
Sorry, Michelle.
Yeah, I just thought about it when I saw that that TF did the same style. That if that was a typical kind of whistle thing, because
I watched.
I don't know.
I wanted to make the slide whistle, and I watched one video from about 5 years ago, and the guy had made his like that, so that's how I made mine.
Maybe it's a turning thing.
Yeah. TFT has done a whistle before as well. He made a whistle long before I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's said in the notes that it was more or less a redo of a earlier one.
I think he was happy. I think he got some sound out of this one, though. I got so many messages from other people who made them saying, yours was great, you got some noise out of yours. Mine didn't work at all.
Yeah, I remember trying to whittle a whistle as a kid. They never worked. So it felt like you needed some kind of magic to actually make them work. Apparently, that's the case.
It's the, I don't know whether you call it the reed or whatever, the insert you put in the mouthpiece. It's getting that gap just right. So when I did mine, I sanded it, tested it, sanded it, tested it until I got noise out. And when I got some noise out, I sanded it a little bit more just to see if it adjusted it, and it did. So, but I think once you go past a certain point, then there's no noise again. So it's just getting that bit right.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm in no rush to make another whistle. That was a fluke video. That one that one's done really, really well for me. That's done over 10,000 views, and I thought normally when I make a video that does well, I'll normally make something completely different the next time, because that's the way my mind works. Let's see if this does as well. But this time round, I'd had the success with the turning video, so I've made 2 other turning videos, which have just done appalling compared to that one. So I don't, you get a good video and you think, oh, that's it, I've cracked it, I know how to do this now. And it just doesn't work. Figuring YouTube out is one of the hardest things in the world. It's a very interesting game.
It was probably that it was a musical instrument. I mean, that's your thing.
I think that probably helps, and I think the fact that I think the length of the video was probably very important. I think YouTube favours videos of a certain length.
I wouldn't know.
So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting game to play, trying to figure it out. That I enjoy. That's the bit I enjoy.
Yeah, I got a funny message here the other day from is it JM WoodCraft?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have ruined his search history because he now gets ads for bagpipes everywhere he go because Yeah, he knows someone who's into bagpipes that might give me some hints on where to get a cheap, decent one, and he ended up like searching a bit himself as well, and now that's the only thing he gets.
I can't believe John's not sent you a set of bagpipes yet.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I mean, it's yeah. I think they. I mean, if you open any cupboard in any Scottish home, they just piles out, don't
Exactly,
they?
yeah. Yeah.
I thought they grew on trees in Scotland.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's just a set of recorder, isn't it? And then it's other from a Highland Cow. That's basically it. So I've been there. Those are just roaming the countryside free. So I mean, it should be easy obtainable.
They even have handles on them, don't they? So you can catch them easier.
Yeah.
It's that what those are for.
There's a place not far away from here that has Highland cues in the field. They're bloody huge beasts, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Won't be messing with those.
No, I saw them. It was last year when we went. No, is it now 2 years ago? Yeah, never mind. I've seen them before, but that was the first time I saw them live up close, and it's like, holy, those are huge.
I mean, a normal cow is big, but that's not even funny.
Yeah.
I saw the other day that you can put comments on podcasts on Spotify nowadays. And I have no idea if we get any kind of message if someone has put a comment on a... And I didn't dare try it either. But
I think Michelle's commented in the past on Spotify.
I didn't know that you could. I mean, last time I looked, there was no, you couldn't comment. So apparently,
I'm not on Spotify, so I wouldn't know.
No, me neither.
Well, it is the program most used to listen to this podcast. So a lot of our listeners are, I think. So if you are, you can go in and comment, and please tell me if you do, so I can find it.
I can see that I'm allowed to comment on anything.
It wasn't as straightforward as a YouTube
Nothing is
thing, but you had to push some buttons.
I'm pushing buttons, but not. Oh, there are comments. Be the first to leave a comment. Comments are public. All right. Safety matters the most. Let's go. Okay. Test. All right. I've sent a comment, so try and find it. Go.
Yeah, because we only have over 100 files uploaded, so that's...
Oh, it was the latest episode, so it shouldn't be, yeah.
So, as this episode comes out, KJ, as you said, it's your Christmas, and it's 10 to 11 in your countries right now. What would you have typically done on today as your Christmas day?
At 10 to 11... probably gone to bed.
No, what's your day? What's your Christmas day routine? I think is what I'm trying to ask you.
The Christmas day routine is, in my mind, it's rather strict, but everyone have their own view of it, of course. Yeah, the morning is probably rather slow, and either you have a Christmas lunch or a Christmas dinner, depending on what suits best. This year we're going to have a Christmas lunch. But the most important thing is that 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's from all of us to all of you, by Walt Disney, from, what was it, 56 or something like that, that's been on every year. and I think half of the population watches that. At least everyone who's middle-aged or older. The young kids doesn't care, but everyone who's grown up with not having cartoons every day watches that for an hour. And then if we have Christmas dinner, then after that, and then it's opening presents, and then just falling asleep.
Fair enough. What about you guys? Same sort of deal?
Yeah. Stian?
It's same-ish. It's for us. It's usually a slow morning with some. It's the same movies on the state-run television every year, and then we have a Christmas lunch. Usually it's porridge. It's
for lunch.
Yeah, for lunch. Yeah. Don't ask. It's a tradition.
Okay.
And then some people or a few people go to the church. I don't really go. And then it's dinner at 5 with the pork belly as the main dish.
I had that for dinner tonight.
And then we open presents after the dinner, probably around 7-ish, and then just hang around for the evening. If somebody got a new game, tabletop game or something, we play, or just enjoy each other's company
and relax.
Yeah,
after everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same here, and the Christmas movie that we need to see is, of course, the Cinderella. That's a traditional one. It's the one. Is it from the Czech Republic? And it's one male doing all the voiceover for all the actors, and it's been a tradition for. They made a remake a couple of years ago, but it's not as popular as the original. And we have done a twist the last 2 years, so we do exactly the same as Stian, and at round 7 we start opening the gifts, but the kids are tired, we are tired, and they just frantically open all the gifts, and they're too tired to play with them, so we just set aside some of them for Christmas morning. So we have dinner, and of course they get to open a few gifts, but not opening all of them makes them play more with the ones that they get, and of course we choose which gifts that are available, so we know what they get, so they don't get something that will bore them, and then we put them to sleep and we go to bed ourselves, so it's not going to be a long night, and then because the kids are going to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning after anyway, so we can just as well get some sleep in, and it's very nice on the Christmas morning, just getting up, and the kids are ecstatic, and you can just let them go at it, opening the gifts, because then you can just sit there drinking your cup of coffee because they are occupied for the next foreseeable future. So that's combining those two is actually kind of nice.
Nice.
But
yes,
what do you do, Glenn? Because you open your packages in November. So what do you do on Christmas?
Well, it's all about the kids, isn't it? It doesn't really matter about me when I open my presents. Let's not dwell on that. Christmas Day for me is it normally starts pretty early, and even though my daughter's 14, I still have to come downstairs first and see if Santa's been. And in that time, while I'm making sure he's been, I make myself a cup of coffee because I can't really talk to anybody until I've had at least one sip of coffee. And then once the coffee's in my hand, I'll shout upstairs and say he's been, and then presents are opened first thing. And then everybody sort of chills out for a little bit. Not me. I start cooking dinner and preparing dinner, and start getting ready for my first being drunk session whilst cooking that dinner. Well, everybody else just does whatever they're doing and starts getting a little bit dressed up for Christmas dinner as well. And then dinner's normally around about, dinner lunch is about 2:00 for us. And then we've done that. Everybody else tidies up and I go and have a nap. And then it's time to get drunk again. Let's see if there's a James Bond movie on, because that's our tradition. There's normally a James Bond movie on Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable.
And then we pretty much do the same thing again the following day on Boxing Day, but without the presents and just lots of more eating and drinking. And
I always wonder, why do you call it Boxing Day? Is it because it's a day after, so you have to get rid of all the boxes that the gifts came in, or what's the...
Do you know, I only recently found out what it was and I've forgotten. I can't remember. Because I think the truth's not really that interesting.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It seldom is, yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of food is the traditional Christmas on the Christmas dinner for you?
In England, it's it's a roast dinner basically, but normally with turkey as a tradition. So it's turkey, roast potatoes, Brussels
Mince
sprouts
pie.
are a must. Mince pies are just throughout the whole Christmas period.
Oh,
They're not-
okay.
Yeah, I mean sweets are everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean here the food is like 50% pig and 50% fish in different variations.
Yeah, I've got to admit, for the last few years I've done beef, but this year I have bought a turkey. So yeah, it's going to be good. I really enjoy a roast dinner, so I look forward to the Christmas dinner. Even though I'm a bit sick of it by the time I prepared it, to be fair.
How is it in Norway? Is it fish heavy or the traditional?
I would say, at least here in the southeastern part, it's usually pork. And then the southern part's probably fish, and the western part's lamb. And up north is probably fish again.
Yeah, I think that sums it up. And of course, in the later years, people have been mixing it up, but there are some traditional dishes, and of course, a lot of them at Christmas, but also throughout the year there are traditional dishes, but the reason they are traditional was if you go like 150 years back, you did not have refrigerators. And you have to conserve your meat. So, of course, the lamb is very salty because they had to just hide it in barrels of salt to keep it eatable throughout the winter. So when you're making the lamb, you have to water it down for 1 to 2 days before it's edible. A lot of the fish one fish course it's conserved in lye, which is a dangerous substance. So you have to water it down for a very long time to make sure that you actually don't get sick when you eat it. And the lye actually dissolves a lot of the structure in the fish. So it's like, it is fish, but it have the what do you call it? The feel, the texture of like jello. So it's very weird. And then you also have something called the rak fisk. I'm not sure how that's called in English as well, but that is also preserved. So it's like fermented, but not fully rotten, but it stinks like nothing else. And I mean, this was the worst. I mean, you had the fresh food in the summer and the autumn, and then you had to conserve it throughout the winter. And now we eat it because it's tradition, but that was the last worst piece of food that you had left over before the spring and you could get fresh food again. So, of course, having nice piece of meat and fresh potatoes and sauce. Nope, not at Christmas, not in the celebratory time. Then we're going to do the most rubbish piece of food we have ever produced because that's tradition.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of pickled herring and smoked sausages.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the pickled herring is. I'm not sure if that is something I mean, I think it's more common in Sweden maybe than Norway, but it's still a thing in Norway. But after we lived for a few years in Sweden and moved back again, my parents have been like I don't think my mother even likes them as much, but you need them for Christmas anyway because you have to be on the table. So it's tradition is weird.
Yeah.
I've tried pickled herring. It's not too bad actually, but you can't eat a lot of it, can you? I couldn't anyway.
I mean, you can, but do you want to spend the Boxing Day on the toilet? Then it's up to you, I guess.
Yeah. And you need to have at least 4 different kinds on the Christmas table as well, so you're not supposed to eat that much.
Yeah.
The mustard one or the onion one, or it's insane.
We'll have to post pictures of our Christmas meals on the Instagram.
Yeah. Let's put it in the CMO group and see what weird stuff we come up with around the world.
But then we have to wait for like 24 hours to see what Glenn does.
You do, I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm not going to cook it a day early just for you.
But I mean, what do you do on Christmas Eve then? Do you just sit there and stare in the wall? I mean, what?
Frantically clean the house.
Yes, frantically clean the house. Yeah, get ready for Christmas. Round about.
So what do you do on the 23rd then? Just go to work like some kind of peasant, or?
Most people do go to work. Yes. Yeah, it's just a normal day. Yeah, it just depends when that falls. But yeah, a lot of people do go to work. I won't be going to work.
I think it's only people working in retail and like people driving the bus and that sort of thing who actually works from the 21st and onward.
Yeah. Yeah, our local co-op, our little supermarket in the village is still open on the 23rd and the 24th. And sometimes it opens for a couple of hours on Christmas Day as well.
Yeah. I mean, it is, you work in retail, that's not too bad on Christmas, actually. And when I worked in elderly care, when you went home to old people and helped them out, that I did that on Christmas Eve as well. And that was also rather nice because, I mean, they were lonely and it was nice to come and brighten their day and have a chat and that sort of thing. So it's not that bad working on Christmas, I feel.
It's like this podcast then, once a week.
I was expecting Stian to say that.
Is that you, Grandpa?
All right, let's call a halt to this half pint. Have a lovely Christmas, whether it's Christmas Eve or the real Christmas Day. And we'll see you in the new year. Or do we see them before the new year, KJ?
We'll see them before the new year.
Okay. See you before the new year. Bye.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.